Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vikas and in today's video we're going to have a look at my favorite tart, chocolate caramel tart with a cocoa crumble. I'll tell you about the composition of the tart. The tart has a crispy chocolate short dough. I've layered it with a crispy fondant crunch, a very creamy caramel ganache and a very soft chocolate CREMEUX. I've dusted some cocoa and topped up with a cocoa crumble. I'm taking 180 grams of unsalted butter. To that I will be adding 100 grams of icing sugar. With the help of a paddle mixer, I'll be incorporating the butter and the icing sugar together. We do not have to mix it too much, just until the icing sugar gets absorbed into the butter. Once my icing sugar and butter comes together, I will add refined flour 360 grams, almond flour 45 grams and 40 grams of cocoa powder. Put the paddle back, mix it all together till you get a breadcrumb consistency. Do not overmix the dough, we just want to have a crumbly texture. Once I achieve this texture, I will add the eggs to it and combine all this together to form a soft crumbly dough. Keep in mind, do not overmix your dough, otherwise it will form gluten and you will make your tart dough very tough. Once I have achieved the dough of a consistency, I am going to flatten it down in between a cling wrap and put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours for chilling. Once the dough has rested for a few hours, with the help of a dough sheeter, I will sheet the dough at around 2 mm thickness. With the help of a cutter, we'll cut the sides and the base for the tart ring. I will line the tart ring with the dough. Once the tart ring is lined, we place the tart ring in the fridge for a few hours. Once rested, we will trim off the excess dough and put it in the oven for baking at 170 degrees centigrade for around 12 to 14 minutes. We'll start by making the chocolate CREMEUX. The chocolate CREMEUX filling needs to be made at least 12 hours in advance. Please make sure that you make this filling one day before and you keep it in the fridge so it will give you nice crystallization once you whip your cream. I've taken 320 grams of dark chocolate, 70%. To that I've added 720 grams of heavy cream. Once the cream comes to a lukewarm boil, we'll pour it over the chocolate and form a nice emulsion. Once emulsified, we have to rest this cream in the fridge for 24 hours. After resting for 24 hours, we will take it out and whip it up to make it nice and whipped chocolate CREMEUX. Once whipped, with the help of a piping bag, we will fill it into a silicone mold and put it back in the freezer so that it freezes. While my chocolate CREMEUX is freezing, we will start with the caramel ganache. For the caramel ganache, I'll first take the cream and put in the microwave so that it's nice and warm. I'll start making a caramel with liquid glucose and castor sugar. Once the liquid glucose and castor sugar reaches a nice caramel color, I'll pour the warm cream on top of the caramel in small parts. Once you finish with your caramel, I will add the unsalted butter and stir it in. Once your liquid cream, the butter and the caramel has all come together, we will continue cooking this to 107 degrees centigrade. Once my ganache reaches 107 degrees centigrade, I will pour it into a tall container and add the sea salt over it. With the help of an emulsion blender, we'll blend this together to get a very nice silky caramel ganache. This ganache will have to be rested in the fridge for a while until we get our tarts lined up. Now let's start making a chocolate crumble. For the chocolate crumble, I've taken unsalted butter and castor sugar. Mix it together to get a nice crumbly texture. We do not have to over cream it, just have to get the butter and sugar together. Once the butter and sugar is well incorporated, we will add the almond flour, refined flour, cocoa powder and some chopped nuts. Mix all these together to get a crumble texture. With the help of a hand, I'm going to put all these ingredients together and form them into small nuggets. Once the nuggets are formed, we will bake them in the oven at around 170 degrees centigrade for 10 to 12 minutes. While the crumble is baking, let's start making with that zulipan tui, which is a garnish for the tart. For zulipan tui, I've taken icing sugar, refined flour and milk all in the same quantity. Mix them together to form a nice batter. Once the batter is obtained, I will spread it over a silpat to get the shape of the zulipan tui. This will be baked in the oven at 170 degrees centigrade for around 7 to 8 minutes. This is optional, it is just for a garnish or decoration of the tart. Now is the final recipe, which is the fondant crunch. For the fondant crunch, I have taken 125 grams of milk chocolate. I have also added 20 grams of cocoa butter while melting the chocolate. I am adding 180 grams of hazelnut praline paste, 50 grams of fondant, 30 grams of crushed chopped salted peanuts, and around 200 grams of cocoa crumble which we had previously baked. Once everything is combined, we will spread this evenly at the bottom of the tart. This will form a very nice crumbly texture and give you nice crunch into my tart. With the help of a piping bag, we will pipe the caramel ganache which was previously made on top of the crunch. Once I finish piping the caramel ganache, with the help of a palette knife, we just level it out till the top of the tart. We will demold the chocolate CREMEUX which was piped inside the silicone mold and place it over the caramel ganache. We will place the pieces of nuggets of chocolate crumble over the chocolate CREMEUX and dust with cocoa powder. We will garnish with the zulipan tui which we previously baked. Once you have garnished and taken the picture for your Instagram, it's time to cut and taste it. You can see the layers, they are so distinctly visible. We have a nice cocoa crumble with a fondant crunch, the caramel ganache and a chocolate CREMEUX on top. I can't wait to dig into this. This is my favorite tart, the chocolate caramel tart with cocoa crumble.